Welcome back to tutorial number 5. A couple more tutorials that I want to put out there for all you new users who have just gotten into OOTP. Yes, what a wonderful, addicting game it is. If you haven't watched the other 4 videos, it's probably better to go back and watch those first, because this is going to be a continuation of those, and some of the things I talk about might not make sense. So there are 4 other tutorial videos. I call it OOTP for Dummies in a nice way. And this video is going to kind of continue on with what I talked about in the last one about tournament play. And I want to get into a little bit with the sliders and how you can maximize that as well. If you notice my screen, I have the Gym Unknown Blue Jays. I just quickly made up a name, which I'll change next week. And in the entry pool, which now has, I'm guessing, close to 60 teams, the Gym Unknown Blue Jays are 52 and 34. We're near the top of the leaderboard. We're in the top 10. But as I said before, that doesn't matter. I don't care about win-loss record. I care about this number up here, the perfect points, and this number up here, the packs that I have, because I do not put money into the game. At least I haven't with this version of the game. And you can see that I have won 6 packs from the tournaments that I talked about in the last episode. Most people, well, I don't want to say most people, but many people probably just go and buy the packs with their perfect points. These ones have been earned from the tournaments. And again, it's always cool to look at your transaction history and see how you've earned your packs and your perfect points. So you can see my perfect points I've earned through gameplay. I bought a few players from my perfect points for missions and for tournament play. And then you see I won 3 standard packs. I won another 3 standard packs. So that's how I got the 6 that I currently have. And then all these are perfect points from gameplay as well. All right, let's head back over to the tournament screen and talk a little bit about sliders and how you should approach that in game. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a old tournament. Remember, I have entered a lot of the Ace of Bronze, the quick tournaments that I suggested you should enter, because if you have completed a lot of the missions, then it's likely that you have a very strong bronze team. And that bronze team helped me get those 6 free packs so far. So I've entered about 10 different tournaments. Again, it's free, no loss, and I've won these 6 packs up here. Once you finish a tournament, if you find that you're not doing too well, one thing you should do is go back in, because OOTP allows you to do that, and look at the teams that did do well, or look at the leaderboards and which players perform really well. So Mantilla, Felix Mantilla, who I have on my team, 29 RBIs and 11 home runs and the top batting average. This looks like a guy you might want to put into your bronze lineup. So when you go to the card shop, you see that he's available for 90 perfect points. I've got 8,000, but I already have him because I knew he was a good player in tournaments. Another one, Amos Otis, 1.2 WAR as a center fielder. Go look in the card shop. He is 90 perfect points. That is a cheap card to get. Take a look at the winning team, the Metros of New York, that went all the way through and won the tournament. So, this is perfectly fine. A lot of people do this. Go and look for the Metros of New York and take a look at what lineup they used. You can even look at the stats for that lineup. So they went with a 6-man starting rotation and only 6 guys in the bullpen. A unique way of doing it. Wayne Twitchell went 4-0. Look him up on the card shop. Go to the card shop, find in card shop, and he is 150 perfect points. Seems like a important player to have. Or maybe you want to look at someone like Miguel Batista, who was 2-1. This is a platinum card, so it's going to be harder to find sometimes, but it's there for 80 perfect points. So, you know what? I'm going to buy that. I've got 8,000 perfect points. It's a platinum card, which are good cards to have anyway, and I might use him in my lineup because it looked like he did well here. So go through, look at the leaderboards, look for some common names. Look at this one, Christensen, strikeouts, earned run average. Looks like another valuable player. So right click on his name, go to find in card shop. And again, it's 90 perfect points, a cheap option to add to your team. Sometimes I look at the second place team as well. So here we have the Moose Town Moose. Go to their pitching lineup. Take a look. See, they have Christensen. They probably have Twitchell as well. Yep. They have Seaver as well. So a lot of common players that the winning team had. And do the same thing for the batters. Go through Metros of New York. Find their team. Take a look at their lineup. Compare it to your lineup. Who did well in terms of batting average? Who did well in terms of WAR? Dick Lundy. Looks like he's a good player. Find him in the card shop. 44 perfect points. I'm grabbing him. That's cheap for a high quality player that's playing well in tournaments. And then you can kind of tweak your lineup. You can look at the successful teams, buy some of these cheaper players, and then go through and tweak your lineup. Now, you could have the exact same lineup as a tournament winner. You could have the exact same lineup as the Metros and lose out in the first round. But if you did have the exact same lineup, you're probably more likely to win packs than using your current lineup because you have a proven lineup there. Sometimes you might get knocked out early, sometimes you might go far. The other thing you don't know is you might copy their lineup, but you don't know what their settings are. So when you go to the strategy menu, there's all these different settings that you can put in, right? There's some basic ones that you can copy over. You can go traditional, you can go small ball, you can even go random. Just randomly give me a lineup. I don't suggest that strategy, but some people like to have some fun. Or you can tinker with them. A lot of times I like to just go traditional and then look at my players and adjust them one by one. So with your pitching staff, and this is a tip that I picked up from Your Kidneys on the Discord. Your Kidneys is a wealth of information, a statistical genius who looks at all the players, accumulates a lot of game material, and then comes up with lists of who the best cards are. He gave me the advice of setting a pitch count of 99 to pitchers that have a stamina above 90. So Winters, Rucker, and Christensen, I set to 99. He also said that if you have a pitcher with a stamina between 90 and 70, they should have a pitch count of about 90. Because after that, they start to tire out. And that means your team's probably going to give up more hits and more runs. So you want to rely on your bullpen more. Don't have your pitchers, set to 0 and then they pitch 140 pitches and the AI leaves them in and you give up a lot of 7th, 8th, 9th inning runs. A lot of teams lose out later in the game and you're going, I had a 5-run lead, how come I lost? Well, because your pitcher's tired and your AI left them in. So that's one really good tip that you should follow. Again, in your strategy tab, you don't need to mess around too much with this. I mean, you can if you want based on your lineup, but I like to keep it fairly traditional, fairly level, and I will focus more on the individual players. So I will take a look at the batting ratings, and then I will kind of sort them by different categories, maybe speed, and I'll go into Bruce Petway, I'll go into his strategy, and I'll say adjust to my strategy. And he's a speedy guy, so I want him to run a little bit more. Again, just tweaking your lineup based on the stats of your individual players. Something you should probably do. Again, if you want to tweak, you can look at what's their contact like versus the lefties, what's their contact like versus the righties, and you don't want a guy like Larry Walker in against the righties because he's got a very low contact. His power is decent, but there's probably other guys that can replace him that are much more suitable. And the last little tip I would recommend is, and it will take some time, but in tournament play, remember, you can export your lineup. So once you do it once, export it, and then it's always going to be there. So one thing that I would do, I would go into strategy, go to player strategy, drag over the first batter, Joe Mauer, and for each of them, you want a fatigue setting of about 97. Some teams go 96, some go 97. And do that for every player. So Mauer set, I click the little arrow, Willie McCovey, 97. And do this for all your players. And once you do that, once you have your lineup set and you've brought in some players that tend to do well, you set your pitcher stamina, then go and export your roster. Give it a name, and it's always going to be there. And remember, as I mentioned in the last episode, when you enter a new tournament, it automatically imports your last saved tournament. So that's why you don't have to do this every time. The only time you might have to make changes is if you bring in a new player, then you have to open up his profile and make those changes here. Set their pitch count if it's a pitcher, and set their stamina or fatigue percentage if it's a batter. Those are some little things that you can do to improve in tournaments. And I'm betting if you follow some of this advice, you'll see those packs start to roll in. So once again, go through, set your lineups, enter as many of the Ace of Bronze, or if you want to do the live tournaments, you can do those as well. But try to stick to the bronze tournaments for now. Enter, you're allowed 3 at a time, and just watch the packs start to come in. All right, that's all I wanted to do with this episode here. I hope it helps. I'm going to do one more tutorial, probably on the weekend, but I want to wait a couple days to see if you guys have any questions. Is there anything you would like to see me cover in this last tutorial? What else do you want to learn about the game? Either the drafts, the tournaments, or just the league play. And if you're in the entry pool, I hope you're doing well. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode. It is a great day for baseball, and I'm going to open up my 6 free packs on the way out. Have a wonderful day.